So Krystal Ball had a really interesting reaction to something that Joe Biden did. Joe Biden has just announced that he's going to be supporting a temporary waiver that would waive intellectual property of the companies, Moderna, Pfizer, these companies who created the coronavirus vaccine. This is because there needs to be more access to these vaccines worldwide, and so waiving these IP laws that are currently in place would allow it to basically be spread more around the world. Obviously, Big Pharma is very against this because they want the money from it. Proponents of the waiver obviously say it's going to help, and also they say that in the long term, this is only a temporary waiver that he's supporting. It would be only temporary just to get coronavirus basically under wraps, and then as the boosters come out, the IP law will still be in place. And so he basically took this stand, and pretty much what's going on is this is going to take a long time for the WTO, the World Trade Organization, to actually, sort this out. So it could end up being that the terms of the agreement are kind of weak. Like, you'll see this with a lot of Biden stuff. So, you have to be a little skeptical even now when Biden says this, but at least, that's what's going on. Joe Biden is saying that he's trying to stop coronavirus, and so he will support a temporary waiver for the WTO that would allow these vaccines to go global. So this is a pretty big deal, obviously. It's a very huge deal. Now, why would Biden do this? I would presume likely due to it would really help his legacy. He could be like the COVID stopper if he were to do this. So that's my personal opinion as to why he's doing it. But interesting enough, Krystal Ball from The Hill. I mean, she is one of the, if not the biggest Joe Biden critic. She's on The Hill's Rising. A lot of people in my audience don't like Krystal Ball. I think a lot of progressives have turned on Krystal Ball. But she sent out a tweet. She says, Pharma was absolutely opposed to lifting patent protection and had an army of lobbyists pushing in the other direction. Biden's willingness to stand up to them is truly fantastic to see. So anytime you see Krystal Ball giving credit to Joe Biden, it's definitely a noteworthy moment because she doesn't do this very often. She is a heavy critic of Biden, and I'm actually still going to remain, I'll give credit to Biden for doing this, but I'm still going to remain a skeptic simply because the actual litigation, if you will, or the process that the World Trade Organization has to go through to actually make these terms final, it's going to take a long time. And so by the time the actual waiver could even pass, let's say it doesn't get through, let's say it gets through, what are the terms going to be? Are they going to be lopsided? Is it going to be very minimal? You don't really know, but this is going to give Joe Biden a lot of good press. It's going to give him probably more respect and maybe some favors from other nations who can really use this help. The left is supposed to be heavily placated by this as well. This is a very big criticism thing for someone like Bill Gates and these companies and all this stuff. It's a really big deal to people. So I think Joe Biden is doing it for those purposes. And we don't even really know what exactly the final terms are going to be. So, we're going to find that out. But, time will eventually tell. But this is definitely, at least for now, a big move. But we will have to see how this actually ends up.